Hey y'all, what's going on? It's been a while since we've done one of these reaction videos on Founding Father stories. Um, I thought for today's video we'd do a reaction to this channel called Zach Starr himself. And this video came out 2 years ago and it's called When George Washington is at Any Government Meeting. Now I'll just say up front, I love his channel. I love his skits. I think they're hilarious and great timing too because on July 2nd I just saw the movie Young Washington, which I thought was fantastic. It was 50-50 in terms of historical accuracy, but I'd be curious, and I've seen this video many times over the years, but I'd be curious for this breakdown video how accurate he portrays George Washington's role and how and where the history takes a back seat because obviously this is a comedy skit, and so he's gonna portray these characters as an exaggeration, but it's super funny. I'll put the link down in the original. I'll put the link to the original video down in the description below so you can check that out without my reaction. Let's go ahead and get started.
Business, we are officially moving forward with the monument.
Oh, I was wondering.
Oh my god.
Could we maybe name it the Washington Monument?
Yes, sir, we can call it the Washington Monument. You were the first president after all.
Fun fact, the Washington Monument was first proposed by the Congress, or by the 6th U.S. Congress, when George Washington died in 1799. It took decades for the thing to be completed. It finished in 1882, nearly 20 years after the Civil War. The cornerstone ceremony was on July 4th, 1848, on Independence Day, just months after the treaty between U.S. and Mexico ended the Mexican-American War, when James Polk was president. And Lincoln was there as a congressman for the ceremony, as well as Eliza Hamilton and Dolly Madison, two widows of Alexander Hamilton and James Madison. And like I said, it finished in 1882. The construction halted during the Civil War because they had to allocate funds to other priorities like the war and those sorts of things.
I just wasn't sure you guys remembered. Oh, and then for the park we're building in New York.
Can we call it Washington Park?
No, sir. For this one, is just a square-ish park. So we're calling it Square Park. Okay?
What about Washington Square Park?
Oh my god.
Then everybody wins.
Okay.
We can call it Washington Square Park. Will that make you happy?
I have a matter of business I would like to discuss.
So I did get investor approval to move forward with carving the heads of 4 people into a
Mount
mountain
Rushmore.
in South Dakota. I believe this will be great for tourism, and projections show that within a decade of the project being complete, South Dakota should be the #1 tourist destination in the world.
I still need to go to South Dakota or to Mount Rushmore. It's crazy how after all these years I still have not been, even though I've been to 39 U.S. states for the 23 years that I've been alive. 39 states. So I'd love it one of these years to make it to where I've been to 50 states. That would be super cool.
Totally see that. I just thought of a question.
Hold on a second. What is happening here? I apologize.
Yes, you can be on it.
Oh, of course I'm going to be on it. Why would you even... It's weird. No, but my question is, do we know who's going first?
Well, we don't even know who the other 3 are.
Well, if we
So
go...
it's Washington, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt are the 4 presidents whose faces are on Mount Rushmore.
Chronologically, by when you were president, then that first spot's pretty much locked down, huh?
Alright, we'll put you first.
I've always wanted my head carved into a mountain.
I would actually like to discuss something kind of big with you guys.
What are your thoughts on moving our capital to a new location?
I was thinking the small area of land.
So I'm assuming he's making a historical reference to the Compromise of 1790, also known as the Residence Act, which George Washington signed into law, making Washington, D.C. the permanent seat of the federal government. And the way that they portray the dinner table compromise in the musical Hamilton, I'd say it was pretty fairly historically accurate. The only inaccuracy was how they portrayed Aaron Burr's character as like being jealous that he wasn't part of the discussion. But in historical reality, Aaron Burr was doing his own thing. He was rising up in New York State politics in 1790, I believe, and he wouldn't defeat Hamilton's father-in-law for that Senate seat until 1791. So Aaron Burr was still in like New York doing his thing. And if he did hear about the Compromise of 1790, I don't think that his reaction was as dramatic as the musical made it to be. Again, I'm not trashing Hamilton. I love the musical, but don't automatically assume that every single historical tidbit in pop culture is portrayed accurately.
No greater than 10 miles square, and it will not be a state, but rather a district. And we shall call it the District of Columbia.
Poor George.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Oh, thank God.
But it shall have one city.
No.
And we shall call it Washington. Washington, District of Columbia. Are you out of your mind? That is way too long.
That's why many people, at least in this last century, started calling it or abbreviating it to DC or calling it Washington, D.C. But back when Washington, D.C. was first being built, it was like in the middle of a nowhere, swampy backwater place between Maryland and Virginia. And it was called Washington City, or as George Washington referred to it, the Federal City. But they wouldn't have called it Washington, D.C. back in the late 18th century, early 19th century, when the federal government moved the capital permanently on the banks of the Potomac from Philadelphia.
We'll abbreviate. What, like WDC? No. We shall call it Washington, D.C. Just abbreviate your stupid part. Even if we officially call it Washington, D.C., I feel like people will just naturally start to call it WDC. Well, you better make sure that never fucking happens.
Oh my God, George.
Oh, guys, I have some good news. We have a brand new state in the country. Oh yeah, brand new state. Oh yeah, brand new state. Oh yeah, brand new state. Oh yeah, brand new state.
Thomas Jefferson. Oh my God.
Yes, it is located in the upper northwest, and we shall call it Washington. Washington and Washington, D.C. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah, so we have the capital of the United States named for George Washington, and then we have Washington State. And that reminds me, too, how they differentiate between calling it Washington State and Washington, D.C. It's kind of like if you're someone living in New York or someone who's from New York, sometimes you'd refer to New York City as like New York City or NYC, and then you'd call the state of New York like New York State to not confuse between the two, because someone just said New York, then another person could easily be confused by whether you mean the city or state of New York.
I haven't gotten to state yet, and I'm like the father of a nation, so I feel like I deserve one. No, you know what?
John Adams.
It's not fair for him to get the capital and a state. No, he can have the capital, and I elect that we name the state Adams State. I was the second president. It's only
There's
fair.
Adams County in Pennsylvania, which is where Gettysburg is located, and that county was named for John Adams.
If he gets a state and I don't, I will scream. Oh my God, you are so annoying. Adams is such a stupid
Oh,
fucking name
George.
anyway. Literally how? It's creepy, it's kooky, and it's plural for no reason. There's not multiple of you. Like, is your whole state gonna be dyslexic? What are you saying right now? I am not putting father of the nation on my Tinder profile.
I love how he's portraying this skit of George Washington, and they're like in a 21st century setting with like modern t-shirts and paper / name tags, and the way that they talk to each other or at each other would not have sound very like the way that he's showing it here is the exact opposite of how they would have spoken to one another in formal 18th century language back in George Washington's day.
That nation contains a state called Adams. I'd rather kill myself. Come on, George. President Adams deserves some recognition. Let's just name one state after him. Oh, I seriously can't deal with this guy. I don't even want to go to your state.
And can I say too, I feel super bad for John Adams, and bear in mind, I'm not excusing any of his faults or any of the bad decisions that he made throughout his public life. Like, obviously, the Alien Sedition Acts were wrong. They were horrible and unconstitutional. But I feel bad for John Adams in the sense that, like, when you look at monuments of, like, all the major founding fathers and, like, currency of all the faces of the presidents on there, he's, like, one of the only presidents and / founding fathers who's neither on currency nor has nationwide monuments to him. And it's just super, I think it's super unfortunate because John Adams did so much for our country in his long career as a founding father. I mean, he pushed for independence in 1776. He convinced Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration of Independence. He named George Washington as commander of the Continental Army. He later assisted Benjamin Franklin in securing alliances during the Revolutionary War. And then later, after the war, he served as America's first post-independence ambassador to Great Britain. And then he served as Washington's first vice president and then became the second president. And during his presidency, while we shouldn't ignore the fact that he chose to sign the Alien and Sedition Acts into law, I mean, he did keep us out of war with France. He sought peace with them even when it was unpopular. And because he sought peace with France, I think that's one of many reasons why he ultimately lost the election of 1800. Because there's speculation that, and the way they portray in the miniseries, I don't know how true this is or not, but the way that the miniseries portrays it is that somebody tells Adams, I think it's John Marshall, he tells Adams that had we gone to war with France, matters might have been different. To which Adams replied that, you know, to return to office with blood on my hands would have been no victory at all. And so what Adams is saying is, yeah, is he bummed out that he lost the election in 1800? Yeah, but ultimately throughout his 4 years, he thought he was doing what he genuinely thought was the right thing for the country at the time. Again, not excusing all of his decisions or policies that he made during his presidency, but you know, we shouldn't, like most historical figures, we shouldn't diminish John Adams to just a one-dimensional caricature. You know, he was complicated, just like we're all complicated.
Too far north and sounds super cold. Like, what do they even have there? Seattle. Yeah, and that's it. Facts. And it sounds fucking awful. I bet it rains all the time. It's literally depression manifesting itself as a city. What about Jefferson City?
Thomas Jefferson, that's so funny.
Rather? Boil my nutsack in honey, then teabag a beehive on a planet with rhino-sized bees before I put your stupid fucking name on anything in this country.
George,
know your place. It is third.
Can you imagine if George Washington actually spent all his time cussing at his fellow founders and colleagues during his lifetime? Oh boy. And he was known to occasionally lose his temper. Like, he lost his temper, for instance, during the Battle of Monmouth, when Charles Lee retreated without authorization. He lost his temper when Horatio Gates got his butt kicked at Camden in South Carolina in 1780. He also then lost his temper and was heartbroken when Benedict Arnold betrayed his country. So George Washington, well, while it's understandable why we would have this image of him as like this restrained, you know, stoic, calm, collected guy, he was not above losing his temper or prone to anger.
How about we reconvene tomorrow? Well, we're not coming in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. So, yeah, we are. It's Tuesday, but it's also my birthday. You still have to come in on your birthday. We'll bring you cake. No, because we're in a government building, so it won't be open. You're saying the government should not be open because it's your birthday. I think America should not be open because it's my birthday. Oh, I'm so sick of this guy. Can I offer a suggestion? Who are you?
George Washington meets Abraham Lincoln. Okay, I thought that was a good video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, I'll put the link in the original video down in the description below so you can check that out without my reaction, and I'll see y'all on the next video.